Marvel isn't just releasing another movie. They're sending out a signal, and the message is clear. This is it. This is the line in the sand. This is the studio putting everything on the table and calling it Avengers. Doomsday, not Infinity War, not Secret Wars, not even Endgame, but Doomsday, a word that doesn't just suggest a fight, it suggests a reckoning. Because let's be real, Marvel isn't just fighting supervillains anymore. They're fighting for relevance, for survival, for a grip on a culture that's already started slipping through their fingers. And with the box office stumbles, the fatigue, the chaos of the last few years, this title, this moment, is either a comeback story for the ages or the beginning of the end. Let's go back for a second. Let's remember what the Avengers once meant: a gathering of legends, a cinematic event that didn't just dominate the box office, it dominated the world. From New York to Wakanda, from Titan to Vormir, the MCU was untouchable. But now, the world feels different, and so does Marvel. The phases that followed Endgame were supposed to be bold, experimental, fresh, and instead they felt confused, disconnected, bloated. The Marvels underperformed, Quantumania got shredded by critics, Secret Invasion landed with a whimper, and fans who once showed up on day one now hesitate, scroll, wait for spoilers instead. And inside Marvel, they know it, which is why Avengers. Doomsday feels less like the next big movie, and more like a high-stakes gamble, a make-or-break moment wrapped in CGI and nostalgia. Because this title, this film, it carries the full weight of the franchise. The word Doomsday doesn't just sound cool, it carries history, destruction, finality, the moment where everything breaks. And that's not an accident. Marvel didn't pick that name because it sounds dark. They picked it because it's exactly what they're facing. This isn't about hype anymore. This is about stakes. And not the kind with aliens and exploding cities, but the kind that decides if people will ever care again. So what do we know about this movie so far? Not much officially, but leaks, whispers, and careful drops are painting a picture. And it's big, it's messy, and it's desperate. The Kong storyline? Quietly being buried after the Majors controversy, after fans couldn't connect with a multiversal threat that felt more like homework than storytelling. Enter Doom, Victor Von Doom, the villain Marvel fans have been begging for, the character who can go toe-to-toe with anyone, the one with intelligence, depth, tragedy, and absolute power. The fact that Avengers, Doomsday, might be introducing or centering on Dr. Doom tells you everything. Because Doom isn't just another bad guy. He's the villain, the one with the presence to shake the foundation of the MCU, the one who doesn't need an infinity gauntlet or multiverse maps to be terrifying, just a cloak, a plan, and a grudge. And Marvel? They're putting it all on him. They're hoping Doom is their reset, their answer to Thanos, their way back into the audience's hearts. But here's the thing. This time, people aren't just watching, they're waiting. Waiting to be impressed again. Waiting to be moved, waiting to believe. Because the last few years have been filled with characters we barely knew, stakes that didn't stick, cameos that felt more like content than cinema. And the idea of Avengers being used again, that sacred word, without the names we grew up with. No Iron Man, no Captain America, no Black Widow. That word has to mean something again. So Marvel is betting it all on Doomsday. The moment, the villain, the movie. And fans? They're not just hoping it's good, they're hoping it matters. Because this isn't just about another release date. This is Marvel walking up to the edge of the cliff and hoping the leap brings them back into the spotlight, not into the void. Marvel isn't just putting its chips on another movie. They're putting them on one man, and his name carries more weight than most villains ever dream of. Dr. Doom, the tyrant king of Latveria, the man of science and sorcery, the one who bends reality without an infinity stone and crushes empires with intellect alone. Let's not downplay this. Introducing Doom isn't just another twist in a franchise. It's a full-scale reset, a recalibration of tone, of stakes, of direction. And it has to work. Because if Doom falls flat, if fans don't buy in, if the story fizzles or the script misses, then Avengers. Doomsday becomes a punchline. The title becomes ironic, and Marvel finds itself buried beneath the weight of its own legacy. Right now, rumors are flying. Insiders say Marvel has been reworking the script behind closed doors, testing alternate storylines, shifting character arcs to make room for Doom, sidelining Kong, trimming multiversal threads that once seemed unstoppable. Why? Because fans didn't care, or worse, they stopped paying attention. And that is the most dangerous thing that can happen to a cinematic universe built on momentum. But Doom? Doom commands attention, if they get it right. Casting is still under wraps, but names like Cillian Murphy, Mads Mikkelsen, even Giancarlo Esposito have been floated by fans. And here's the thing. Whoever plays him has to be magnetic. Not just menacing, but Shakespearean. Because Doom isn't just evil. He's righteous, in his own twisted way, and that's what makes him unforgettable. He thinks he's the hero, the savior, the only one capable of fixing the world. And if Marvel captures that nuance, if they don't water him down with cheap quips and CGI explosions, then they might just have the comeback they've been begging for. But this also isn't just about Doom. It's about who's left to fight him. Because let's not ignore the elephant in the multiverse. The Avengers are gone, or scattered, or deeply changed. Tony's dead. Steve's retired. Natasha's gone. Thor is off-world. Hawkeye's out of commission. And Hulk? Well, we haven't seen real rage in a while. What's left is a patchwork team. Younger, greener, less iconic. Sam Wilson as Captain America. Shang-Chi, maybe the new Fantastic Four. Yelena, Moon Knight, She-Hulk. It's a gamble. Marvel is banking on us caring about these faces the way we once did about the originals. And the truth is, not everyone does. Which is why Doomsday has to be bigger than just a lineup. It has to feel like an event, something we can't afford to miss, something that matters. And if Marvel can thread that needle, can make Doom terrifying, the stakes real, the team compelling, and the emotion earned, then they might just remind us all why we fell in love with this universe in the first place. But right now, they're standing at the edge. Because the fans are watching, the critics are waiting, and the industry is whispering that Marvel's time might be done. And Marvel? They're responding not with words, but with one movie, Avengers, Doomsday. The question is, will it save the brand or bury it? Let's be honest here. Doomsday doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in the shadow of Endgame. And that's both its biggest curse and its only hope. Because Marvel isn't just trying to release another big crossover. They're trying to recreate lightning in a bottle. They're trying to pull off something fans still call the most ambitious cinematic event of all time. And they're trying to do it without the original pillars that made it possible. There's no Tony Stark to anchor the tech, no Steve Rogers to carry the shield, no Natasha Romanoff to break our hearts in Act 2. And without those emotional anchors, Marvel's left chasing ghosts. But Doomsday, if it works, could be the moment that stops the chasing and starts something new. And Marvel knows that. This is why the marketing has been so tight, so secretive, because they're not just teasing a movie. They're hoping to trigger something emotional, something primal, something that makes people say, okay, I need to be in the theater for this one. And they're not stupid. They know legacy is part of this conversation, which is why whispers of multiverse cameos, a Tony Stark variant, a Steve from another timeline, Wolverine, even Deadpool, aren't just fan service anymore. They're strategic firepower. Because the fans that built this empire, they're tired, but they're listening. They're not asking for another universe to memorize. They're asking for a reason to care. And Marvel, for all its flaws in the past few years, still has the tools, still has the talent, the history, the music, the emotional pull to deliver a final act that lands. But it has to land differently. This isn't 2012. This isn't 2019. This is a new era, and people have changed. Superhero fatigue is real. Franchise loyalty is fragile. Attention spans are shorter. And expectations? Sky high. Which means Avengers. Doomsday can't just be big. It has to be bold. It has to break the formula. It has to take risks. It has to go deeper, darker, more grounded, while still being absolutely massive. Because if this is Marvel's answer to every critic, every fan who said, it's over, then it needs to be a statement. Not a soft reset, not another phase, but a line in the sand. And that's what Doomsday is shaping up to be. This isn't just a villain story. It's not just a sequel. It's a mirror to everything Marvel's done and everything they've failed to do since. And if they pull it off, if they thread that impossible needle, if they make us care again, then Doomsday won't just be another blockbuster. It'll be the resurrection of a franchise that once felt invincible and the beginning of something we didn't see coming. But if they miss, then the word Doomsday will mean a lot more than just the villain's name. Because at that point, it won't just be the end of a saga. It'll be the end of an era.